It feels like it was only yesterday when a live-action adaptation of the action-adventure game The Last of Us was announced, and now we're nearing the series premiere in just a matter of months. For today's video, we'll be talking about how The Last of Us voice actor recalls his first day on the live-action HBO set. All this and more in today's video, so make sure you keep watching if you don't want to miss out. Troy Baker, who provides Joel Miller's voice in the upcoming live-action HBO TV adaptation of The Last of Us, reflects on his first day on the set in today's video. Troy Baker, who starred in the first two of The Last of Us video games, talks about his first day working on the HBO live-action TV version. The Last of Us, starring Pedro Pascal as Joel Miller, has become one of HBO's most eagerly awaited programs and is scheduled to premiere in early 2023. Bella Ramsey, who will portray Ellie, a young girl who inadvertently possesses the cure to a horrible brain fungus that has ravaged society and transformed the United States into an apocalyptic wasteland, will co-star with Pascal in the series. The highly anticipated The Last of Us television series is a straight adaptation of the popular video game series produced by Naughty Dog. Both Baker and Johnson are confirmed to have undisclosed roles within the upcoming series, though details surrounding just where and when they will appear remain scarce. Aside from a slight change in the timeline, the series will follow much of the same story and characters as the game, with Baker having provided the voice of Joel and Ashley Johnson having voiced Ellie in both 2013's The Last of Us Part 1 and 2020's The Last of Us Part 2. In a recent interview with comicbookmovie.com, Baker discusses his first day on the HBO series The Last of Us after his covert connection with the project intrigued fans. Before revealing that his first day on set was a genuine pinch-me moment for him, Baker previews a great conversation he had with Pascal, who plays his role in the live-action version of the show. The actor describes how weird it felt to watch the game's visuals come to life all around him, and says he would never have imagined this 10 years ago when he originally applied for the role of Joel. Here's what the voice actor has to say about it. "I had a wonderful conversation with Pedro that I will save until after the series airs, so there are no spoilers about it, but I can definitely say that my first day on set, I was able to look around this beautiful location and I had to pinch myself. I couldn't believe we were there. If you'd gone back 10 years ago and said, 'This audition you're walking into for this game, you have no idea how successful and embraced it will be by people. Oh, and you're going to be in Canada shooting one of the most expensive HBO series that's ever been done before. I'd never have believed you.'" The Last of Us's new trailer hinted at how faithfully it will follow the video game, but this was only a brief preview. More are anticipated as the premiere of the program approaches. Despite the great secrecy that has surrounded The Last of Us production, numerous photographs and videos started to appear from the set during the show's filming phases, demonstrating how each episode's rumored $10 million budget was being used effectively. Many game-accurate scenes were filmed behind the scenes, including the hospital scene, which is one of The Last of Us's pivotal scenes. Baker is undoubtedly among those who would know best, so it's safe to assume that his response to The Last of Us set should serve as more than enough assurance that the series will deliver a faithful rendition of the renowned video game. It's heartwarming to hear Baker's continued love for the plot of The Last of Us as both the star of the original game franchise and the current star of its live-action adaptation. As many people were thrilled to hear that both he and Johnson would have a role to play in this live-action interpretation of the story they originated. Baker's words are now only going to increase the already high anticipation that surrounds this series. The Last of Us game accuracy has been a significant issue for many fans who are eager to see the HBO series stay loyal to its source material. Moving on to another topic, one area for concern for the fans of the franchise is the time jumps, but according to the team behind The Last of Us's adaptation, these time jumps won't pose a problem, at least for now. The first season of The Last of Us, airing on HBO, will follow the events of the first video game in the series, which features a time jump of 20 years following the prologue. The prologue of The Last of Us introduces Joel, the protagonist of the narrative, and establishes the post-apocalyptic world with a virus outbreak in Austin, Texas. Joel, Troy Baker / Pedro Pascal, encounters Ellie, Ashley Johnson / Bella Ramsey, in The Last of Us main storyline 20 years later, and agrees to get her to a group of scientists so they can examine her immunity to the virus that has wiped out civilization. Every season of The Last of Us takes place over a single calendar year, and HBO will have 10 episodes to tell the story of the first entry in the series as they travel from Boston to Salt Lake City. Since a time jump after a prologue is practically expected, a 20-year gap will need to feel natural to spectators to establish the world's backdrop and aesthetic, as well as the terrifying clickers of the The Last of Us. While it might have been expected that time jumps that cause the seasons of the year to change every few episodes afterward would be confusing, another HBO adaptation, House of the Dragon, has set a new bar and expectation, as Season 1 easily spans over 2 decades with numerous enormous time jumps between episodes. When compared to a 10-year leap in a single episode that features numerous actor recasts, a few months lost between episodes while Joel and Ellie travel from Boston to Jackson and then to Wyoming isn't that difficult to comprehend. So is it possible that the show can have shorter time jumps rather than seasons? The typical gameplay of The Last of Us, a video game, takes 15 hours and skips around the seasons of the year. The HBO showrunners may also be discreetly introducing a significant alteration to The Last of Us by inserting more transitional sequences that feature speech and character development. Changes like these could resemble a blend of the game's combat engagements and the exploring scenes that Joel and Ellie enjoy joking about. The sole DLC for the video game, Left Behind, is anticipated to be included in HBO's The Last of Us with the casting announcement of Riley, Storm Reed. Before the events of The Last of Us, Ellie's best friend and first love interest are introduced in the DLC flashbacks, along with the story of how she discovered she's immune. The showrunners will still need to include seasonal time jumps to be able to spread across the entire year. And that is the plan, with filming taking place in different seasons and why HBO took so long on The Last of Us Season 1. Additional plots and characters, as well as incorporating the DLC into the main narrative, can help to bridge some of the larger gaps in the year. Surprisingly enough, HBO's House of the Dragon will help the second season of The Last of Us even more. Viewers will only have to endure a 5-year time gap between the first and second chapters of The Last of Us, assuming Season 2 is approved. This might have raised some concerns in the past because it's a significant portion of the characters' lives to skip, but HBO and House of the Dragon have altered public perceptions of how much can be covered in a single season of a show. After House of the Dragon set up its biggest time jump, it was demonstrated by a few episodes that HBO showrunners can create bloodlines spanning 2 decades while still engaging viewers. If characters and their stories are treated with the same care as in Season 1, continuing The Last of Us after a 5-year break won't be challenging. The deadly vendetta centered on Ellie and a brand new foe is the main theme of The Last of Us Part 2. Unlike The Last of Us Part 1, the story's main action is wrapped up in a matter of days, and the epilogue occurs around a year later. However, what will truly matter to fans is their ability to unearth exquisite moments of storytelling amid a grim and brutal setting. House of the Dragon and HBO's experience with time changes will help again. HBO is great at bringing out the best and worst in characters in a way that makes viewers want to remember them always. It certainly helps that the creators of the program have such amazing material to pull from once more, and their upcoming project ought to be every bit as memorable as The Last of Us trailer, which was precisely what viewers wanted to see. With that, we're wrapping up today's episode about the latest on HBO's The Last of Us. Are you a big fan of the video game franchise? What do you think about HBO's adaptation? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching today's episode, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. See you next time.